Good afternoon, Pointers, and welcome to this year's first iteration of SPTV Sports Hub. My name is Will Haroldson, and alongside me is my partner, Ashton Parker, and today we'll be discussing how UWSP's football team has been so successful so far this season, and what to expect from various teams across the state of Wisconsin, like the Packers, Badgers, Brewers. All this when we come back to SPTV's Sports Hub. 2 weeks ago, the Pointers football team made the 506-mile trek to North Dakota, where they played Mayville State University for their first game since November 16th, 2019. Pointer fans are worried. They haven't played in 2 years. Are they really going to show up? Well, it's safe to say they did. The Pointers thumped Mayville State 31-14, and followed up that impressive performance with an even more so one, dominating 34-7 victory against Simpson College. So Ashton, Pointers have been pretty successful this season. Obviously, I mean, it goes without saying that the coaching staff has done a good job. What do you think has led to them being so successful this far this year?
Yeah, thanks. So I think what makes them so successful right now is, one part is the quarterback, Max Hero. He's been doing a fantastic job recently. If I'm taking a look at the stats right here, in the first game against Mayville State, he went 21 for 32 in completions with 284 yards and threw for 3 touchdowns. That's a really good one. Yeah, it's very good.
Especially to start off the season, not being playing in 2 years.
Exactly. Yeah. I don't know if just like rust is like not a thing to them, but that was really impressive. And the rushing also did a great job too. You have Verson Gamble had 12 rush with 73 yards. Max Hero had 11 attempts with 42 yards, which is also very good.
It's always nice to have, that 1-2 punch in every football team. You have the quarterback that can obviously throw it, and that's obviously a threat. But if you have a really strong running back, that opens up options for, play action passes down the field. I know that's watching practices, as we go by in school, we see they're practicing that a lot. In this upcoming week, they have a big game against UW Stout, so we'll see if they utilize more of that. But their second game, first 2 games of the year in any sport that you're in is typically a time to, figure out the team, who's going to be where. I think it's pretty safe to say that Hero has kind of solidified himself as the starting quarterback.
No, that's very true, and I agree a lot. But here's one other thing that I think is very important that we need to talk about here, and that's the defense for UWSP. It has been absolutely stellar. They recorded 9, if I'm counting correctly, 9 sacks in the first game in week 1, and then I think it's 6 sacks in week 2. That's really, really, really impressive, and those sacks really matter because that's a lot of the yards for the opposing team that they lost.
Absolutely.
And they have to go farther for the first down.
Right, now. And when you apply pressure, by the linebackers and defensive linemen, it gives the secondary chances to potentially make plays on balls and provide interceptions that spark the offense. So it really seems like the first 2 games this season, the offense and the defense, the entire team has really been clicking on all cylinders. But this weekend's going to be their first test. In-state rivalries are always really difficult, and UW Stout is always a tough opponent. Obviously, it's going to be a nice atmosphere this weekend. It's Breast Cancer Awareness game against, Pink Game. Everybody will be decked out in pink, so it should be a fun game. We're going to be looking forward to seeing how each team competes. But I guess another question we can dive right into is how do they keep this success going? And it's really hard, to have 2 phenomenal games to start the season and to not, at any level, to not let it get to your head and say, oh, we're just going to walk out here and thump these guys. What do they do to have the same success they have in the first 2 games?
Here's my thing. I think what they need to do the most is just keep all gas, no brakes. They need to just keep going forward, full throttle. I think with these 2 stats, with these 2 games, it shows that they really have, is that they just don't let up. They continue beating down on their opponent even after they have clearly won the game. Because, another thing is that Trey Schroeder in week 2, even after they took out Max Hero, he went 7 for 9 for 67 yards, and that's just not giving up. Right. So I think that's what they need to keep doing is they just keep going throughout the entire game.
kind of treat it as, like the injury situation. So it's next man up, Starters go out, now it's the second stringers to kind of step up and show that they can play. So if anybody's not able to head out to the game this Saturday, tune into SBTV's YouTube channel where we'll be broadcasting the game, myself, Cale Jacoby of 90 FM. It'll be a fun game, and we'll be looking forward to bringing that to you guys. When we get back, we're going to cover a few other topics, such as, man, was that a rough game for the Green Bay Packers against the New Orleans Saints, and the Milwaukee Brewers' success, and along with some of the upsets that came this weekend in college football. So don't tune away. We're going to be right back.
Being a part of the different activities and organizations that I've been a part of, I'm actually able to see myself where I'm like, hey, I actually can make a change. I'm one person that can make a difference.
Division III has helped me to develop teamwork skills, critical thinking skills, time management skills.
It's not just about basketball, or it's not just about school. It's about developing yourself as a person altogether.
Welcome back to SBTV Sports Hub. Will Haroldson, Ashton Parker. A lot of Packer fans around the nation are really upset over last night's game, and I can't exactly blame them. It was hard to watch. 38-3. It was a beatdown. Jameis Winston first started as New Orleans Saints since Drew Brees' absence. Everybody was wondering, man, the Packers were a pretty good team last year. Do you think they're going to be able to have the same success this year like they did last year against the Saints? They came into the Superdome and beat them down there, and man, did the Saints really take it to the Packers yesterday.
That was a really, really rough game to watch. So the Packers have a lot of the fans are expecting a lot this year. We went to the NFC Championship last year. We failed. We lost to the Buccaneers, who eventually won the Super Bowl. But Aaron Rodgers came back for possibly his last season. We had all that drama going on in the offseason, but not talking about that right now. Aaron Rodgers is back. We got Randall Cobb back. Devontae Adams is still here. Aaron Jones is still here. We have that same offensive core back. And our defense is still very, very solid with both the Smiths and I think
we had Rashawn Gary as well. He was a good edge rusher.
Yeah, and then I was going to say our secondary as well, but
Jair Alexander.
I swear one of them got injured as well.
Darnell Savage, I know, was a little shaken up during the game, but that humidity must have been rough yesterday because we saw those guys were sweating up a storm because originally the game was supposed to be in New Orleans, obviously because of the hurricane, they had to move it. And the thought was moving a game to Florida where there's a lot of Packer fans, obviously, because Wisconsinites like to go down to Florida because they don't like the cold. And if you're a Packer fan, I think they said there was around 35,000 there yesterday. Man, you got to be disappointed with that performance.
I think the main thing that killed them the most was their offensive line and just how it wasn't there. The Saints recorded 11 sacks yesterday.
Also, we got to give credit where it's due. They did obviously have a good game plan set to go in. The Saints did against the Packers offense, so got to give credit where it's due in that aspect. So
actually, I'm sorry, I read this wrong. They had only 2 sacks, but it was 4. But those sacks it's really important because, with another injury that's been really hurting the Packers have been David Bakhtiari.
Pro lineman.
Yeah, pro lineman. He's the main focus of the Green Bay Packers O-line out for the season. He's not going to play this season because of injuries. That absolutely hurts. It hurts so much. And when you don't have that, and when Aaron Rodgers throws 2 interceptions, it just does not sound like a recipe for success.
And the thing about watching Rodgers, obviously you alluded to some of the drama that happened this past season. On those interception throws, those were very un-Aaron Rodgers-like. It looked like almost he was just kind of giving it a chance that if he catches it, great. If it's interception, well, oh well. And it came back to bite him. And I'm going to be completely honest. That was one of the worst performances I've ever seen Aaron Rodgers play. And a lot was expected of him, seeing as he just won the MVP.
Mm-hmm. I think it's because of the drama and the thing of like, wow, well, I already won 3 MVPs. I've won a Super Bowl. I honestly don't care. I think this is going to be his last year. I don't think he's
As a member of the Green Bay Packers or just in general?
It could be either. I could just completely see him retiring after this year. I could also just see him leaving.
He did allude to the Michael Jordan Last Dance Twitter. So I feel like you can be correct about that. When we come back, we're going to be discussing more sports, including the Milwaukee Brewers' success so far this season, along with the rest of college football. So don't tune away.
Being a part of the different activities and organizations that I've been a part of, I'm actually able to see myself where I'm like, hey, I actually can make a change. I'm one person that can make a difference.
Division III has helped me to develop teamwork skills, critical thinking skills, time management skills.
It's not just about basketball, or it's not just about school. It's about developing yourself as a person altogether.
Welcome back to SPTV Sports Hub. We just discussed the lethargic Green Bay Packers, but let's get into a more positive topic, the Milwaukee Brewers. 89-55 so far this year, and got just about, 18 games left in the season. Mm-hmm. Seems to be a pretty exciting time if you're a Brewers fan.
I am a Brewers fan, so I am really, really excited for this team. This team is absolutely incredible. It's one of the best Brewers teams of all time. Ever since they got Willie Adames, they've had an MLB best. I think they've gone 63 and 20-something losses. It's absolutely incredible what trades have done with this team. Their pitching has been it's the best in baseball, in my opinion.
Corbin Burns has had himself one heck of a year.
Corbin Burns, in my opinion, should be Cy Young, but that could also be bias.
Yeah.
Max Scherzer is also
He's had a fantastic year as well.
Brandon Woodruff is a fantastic second man. Freddie Peralta, when he's healthy, is absolutely great as well. And they've had some help from their, they're not the big 3, but the couple pitchers behind it. Aaron Ashby's been doing way better after his pretty disastrous first start.
Yeah.
And Adrian Hauser and Eric Lauer have been doing quietly really well.
Right. And I mean, it's not just pitching. It's from top to bottom. This Brewers roster is full of former MVPs, World Series champions, and Lorenzo Cain, former MVP, Christian Yelich. I mean, they even have that mentorship from last year. I know a lot of the players are still in contact with Ryan Braun, another former MVP. And I mean, this, like you said, that trade for Willie Adames is looking pretty like it's benefiting the Milwaukee Brewers. I mean, in the early beginning of the season, the Brewers traded Orlando Arcia, and a lot of us were kind of questioning, scratching our heads, why did they do that? And obviously, the front office knows a little bit more than we do, as they've just been lights out ever since then.
Yeah, when that Adames trade happened, the Brewers were 25-25. They were 3rd in NL Central, which, at the time, it was only May, so it was still early, but this was seeming like it was going to be kind of like another 2020. Where it's like, they're all right, but not really near playoffs. And then that Adames trade hit, and just everything just skyrocketed from there. Their hitting has been absolutely great. Another good one, Luis Urias has hit 20 home runs this season, is still going. Eduardo Escobar was a great last deadline trade for the Brewers.
Omar Narvaez being the catcher, having a fantastic year. I think what's also need to be put into perspective is how well they've done against the top teams and on the road. I mean, the San Francisco Giants came out of nowhere, and it seems like the first seed is theirs to take in the National League. But against the best team in the league, the Brewers have a winning record against, and that may do some confidence in the playoffs.
Is that I also want to add on to that. Not only do they have a winning record against the team with the best record in baseball, they have a winning record against the NL West in general, which is known as one of the best divisions in baseball currently. They have a winning. I think they're currently even with the Dodgers. They have a winning record against the Padres, and then a winning record against the Rockies and the Diamondbacks as well.
And it's funny to think, okay, the Diamondbacks and the Rockies are both lower teams.
Yeah.
But at home this year, the Rockies have been formidable.
It's weird.
In Denver, I mean. They've been formidable. It's an odd season.
Yeah, it's so that the Rockies are all right. So the Rockies are a weird team. It's just like they're really bad on the road, but they're actually quite good at home. So, but I think what the Brewers, I think they should do is, the magic number right now is 5 for winning the NL Central. So I think they should win the NL Central, and then I say just keep on the down low, rest your starters, try and go for that second seed, and let the NL West just beat up on each other, because we know that there's a really good chance that the winner of the NL West is getting the 1 seed, and then second place is getting the 4 seed in the wild card game. So I say let them beat up on each other. Let the Brewers face whoever wins the NL East, which could be really anyone, and then have them fight either the Dodgers or the Giants in the NLCS.
I mean, the past couple of years we've seen the Brewers, they've had an unsavory ending to their season. Obviously last year it was a little bit different. Extended playoffs. Brewers ended up playing the best team in the league, the Dodgers, who ended up winning the World Series. Mm-hmm. The year before that, we lost in the wild card game to the eventual World Series champions. And then the year before that, we made it to the NLCS, where we lost to the eventual runner-up. So it's been disappointing. So what steps do they have to take to improve, to get to that World Series, to put themselves in a position to be world champs?
I think right now the biggest issue for them is health. We've Willie Adames, with how dominant he's been on the IL a little bit recently. He's on the IL right now, just for a little longer. But you also have Rowdy Tellez, who just got put in the IL. Their key first baseman. And Daniel Vogelbach is good. He had that walk-off grand slam. Oh, absolutely. That was so good to watch, too. He's good there. But I think we kind of want to have Rowdy Tellez available in that first baseman spot. So it's good to... So I think overall just health is the biggest issue for them. I think the Brewers are just an absolutely solid team. They have amazing pitching. They have really good hitting, and I think their fielding is also very, very good. Lorenzo Cain, Jackie Bradley Jr., Rowdy Tellez is a great first baseman. Willie Adames is really good. Luis Urias has been struggling lately, but he's done a couple of good stuff.
Avi Garcia has also stepped up in some big times too, but also something else noting. This would be Bob Uecker, the legendary broadcaster, his 50th year covering the Milwaukee Brewers baseball.
I think it'd be
so if there's any time to win the World Series, you would think it would be right now.
It would be absolutely poetic if they won the World Series on the 50th year of Mr. Baseball calling the Brewers. That'd be amazing.
That would for sure be fantastic. When we come back, we're going to cover a little bit more of college football, and maybe we'll get to some other things, but we'll get to that when we get back.
UW-Stevens Point is home.
It's a university where professors know your name and get you involved in research.
They inspire us to realize big dreams.
At UW-Stevens Point, sustainability is what we stand for.
Our beautiful campus encourages exploration, developing new fields, and problem solving for the real world.
It's a great place to launch your career.
UW-Stevens Point is home.
Apply today at uwsp.edu.
Welcome back to SPTV Sports Hub. Will Haroldson, Ashton Parker. And this past weekend was a fun weekend of college football. Some big upsets happened, including the number 12th ranked Oregon Ducks going into the Horseshoe at Ohio State and beating the Buckeyes, a team that had won 23 home games this past few years.
Yeah.
So to say that was an impressive win is an understatement.
Oh yeah, I was really shocked that Oregon beat Ohio State. We know that Ohio State's just been an absolute juggernaut in college football, but to see someone go into the Horseshoe and just beat them. It was pretty close. Like Ohio State was making a comeback in the end, but they were handling them pretty well.
Oregon's defense seemed to have C.J. Stroud, the freshman quarterback for Ohio State, confused. Albeit he had close to 500 passing yards and 5 touchdowns. But he seemed very confused on a few plays. And to me, a confused quarterback spells disaster for a team. It ended up proving that.
Yeah, I agree. One other quick game I want to talk about is Toledo Notre Dame.
Oh yeah.
And how Toledo almost beat Notre Dame. Yeah. They were for most of the game, and then the fourth quarter happened, and they beat them by 3. I think Notre Dame is. They've had 2 wins now where it's been scary close, and I feel like there should be some red flags.
It seems like they're a completely different team in the second half. I mean, watching Wisconsin transfer Jack Cohn playing, I mean, he seems to be playing fantastic in the first half against Florida State, and then the offense just falls apart. The defense is giving up big plays, and if you're a Wisconsin fan, that's the team we're playing next. We're looking at, can we replicate what Toledo did or what Florida State did to a higher degree than what they did to pull off an upset and get themselves right back into the Big Ten championship race?
Yeah, I hope that's the case because, Wisconsin did beat Eastern Michigan really badly this weekend, 34-7. So I'm hoping they can use that momentum to the Notre Dame game and hopefully get an upset.
They get a bye, so they get an extra week. And, if it wasn't for that late pick 6 that Chase Wolf threw, I mean, the defense pitched a shutout. I mean, the question isn't, is the defense in trouble? It's, can the offense execute it? And ultimately, that's what doomed the Badgers in their first game against Penn State. They put themselves in position to win that game, having the ball inside the 5-yard line twice, unable to score. Yeah. And so if they're going to want to beat a big-time team like Notre Dame, they're going to have to eliminate those mistakes.
Yeah.
So, obviously a lot to look forward to. All right. And we're going to move on to a new segment called Buy or Sell. In this, I'll pitch you kind of an idea. Yeah. Buy or sell. Do the Green Bay Packers still have a chance to be Super Bowl champions after Week 1's performance? Buy or sell?
I think... Are you saying Super Bowl champions or playoff contenders?
Super Bowl champions.
I'm gonna sell that one. I don't think so. I know it's just week 1. We have a lot of football left to play. We have an extra week now, but I think from that performance against the Saints, I don't know if Aaron Rodgers just has it in him to continue to have that amazing season like he had last year. I think they're gonna win the NFC North because the NFC North seems really weak this year, but I think they're not going to win the Super Bowl.
All right, buy or sell. The Milwaukee Brewers are definite World Series contenders.
Buy. I think the Brewers are one of the best teams in baseball. I think they have the best pitching in the MLB. Their hitting is, it suffices now, but because of that pitching, it helps them not need amazing hitting. And I think they are definite World Series contenders.
And finally, buy or sell. The Wisconsin Badgers are still in contention for the Big Ten.
I think I'll buy that one because Penn State is a really solid team. Their defense is really, really good. And that Week 1 game was pretty close overall. It's just, at the end they just could not score. But I think with this win against Eastern Michigan, they can bounce back and they could make themselves in a position to win the Big Ten.
Well, with that, we're going to wrap things up here. I'd like to thank Ashton Parker for being my partner this week. It's been really fun working with you, and obviously we're going to try to continue to do this in the future. And for all those people watching, we'd like to thank you for watching. Make sure you tune in this Saturday to our broadcast of the Pointers versus UW Stout football. And we look forward to seeing you next week on SPTV Sports Hub.